Welcome back to Based MMA. There has been a lot of talk about Yuri Prochazcha potentially moving down to the middleweight division. And in this video, I'm going to explain why I believe that's a very bad idea. I understand that Yuri is kind of in a weird situation right now, right? Because he already fought for the title twice against Alex Pereira and came off short, got knocked out in both those fights. This most recent fight, he got knocked out in brutal fashion. The first one was kind of an early stoppage, but he was on his way to probably lose that fight. But look, here's the thing. I understand, like I said, that Yuri is probably not going to fight for the title if Alex Pereira remains the champion of the light heavyweight division. And as of right now, it seems like Alex Pereira will stay as the champion of the light heavyweight division. We have to see what happens in his fight against Magomed Ankalaev, but you never know, right? Magomed Ankalaev is a very good fighter. He has pretty good striking. He can go out there and, maybe out grapple Alex Pereira, maybe win a decision. Who the fuck knows? This is MMA. We all know that anything could really happen. But as of right now, Alex Pereira has looked very dominant and continues to look even more dominant in the light heavyweight division. So what is next for Yuri Prochazcha? Look, I don't think moving down to 185 is the solution. He did not lose to Alex Pereira because he was a smaller guy, even though Alex Pereira is a very big 205er, and I think Yuri is also a pretty good size 205er as well. I mean, when he fought Alexander Rakic, he was a smaller guy, but you couldn't, like, you didn't feel like he was too undersized. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've seen him fight guys like Glover Teixeira. We've seen him fight guys like Volkan Ozdemir, Dominic Reyes. And Yuri does not look undersized for 205. So that's not the solution. The problem with Yuri is that he has a fighting style that relies a lot on his durability and chin. And when you're facing somebody like Alex Pereira, who's very technical, but on top of that also has a lot of power, it's a recipe for disaster. And what do you guys think is going to happen when Yuri Prochazcha moves down to 185, which is a 20-pound weight cut, which is a huge weight cut. This isn't 10 pounds. This isn't a 5-pound weight cut. This is a 20-pound weight cut to get down to the middleweight division, where Yuri is going to be at a disadvantage in terms of his durability, which he relies a lot on his durability. He's going to be on a disadvantage in terms of skill and technique, because that's one of Yuri's biggest problems, his technique, his striking defense. And yes, I understand that some of these guys, I mean, no guy in middleweight has the power of somebody like Alex Pereira, but there's a lot more technical guys. I mean, we got guys like Robert Whittaker, Nassourdine Imavov, Sean Strickland. And I think that even though a lot of people think, oh man, Yuri's such a big guy, he's gonna boast over like Imavov, Robert Whittaker, I don't see that happening, just because Yuri would have to do a 20-pound weight cut to get down to the middleweight division, where a lot of those guys are a lot more technical than the light heavyweight division. I mean, Robert Whittaker is very technical. Sean Strickland is very technical. Nassourdine Imavov is also very technical. I just don't see Yuri Prochazcha having the success at 185 for him to, I don't think it's worth it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I don't think Yuri moving down to 185 is the solution. Look, even though Yuri, like I said, he's already lost to Alex Pereira twice, he's probably not going to fight for the title. It's not like Yuri has been going through the light heavyweight division. It's not like he's already fought every single contender in the light heavyweight division. He hasn't fought Magomed Ankalaev. He hasn't fought Jamal Hill. He hasn't fought Nikita Krylov. He hasn't fought Johnny Walker. He hasn't fought Jan Blachowicz. He hasn't fought Khalil Roundtree. So there's still a lot of opponents for Yuri to fight, and for him to like move down to 185, it just does not make a lot of sense. Like I said, it's a big weight cut. One of the things that Yuri relies on is his willpower, his durability, his chin. We've seen that he doesn't have the best striking defense. And then you're moving down to a weight class where a lot of those guys are a lot faster than you and a lot more technical than you. So I don't believe that it is smart for Yuri to move down to 185. I think the best path for Yuri Prochazcha moving forward is to fight the contenders. Fight a big fight with Jamal Hill. Fight a big fight with Jan Blachowicz. Fight a big fight with Nikita Krylov. Because even though he came off short against Alex Pereira, I still think that Yuri has a lot of potential to be a top contender in the light heavyweight division. Obviously, we have to see, right? Because he took a significant amount of damage against Alex Pereira. Maybe that chin just won't be the same. And then he wants to cut down to 185. Like, that does not sound like a good idea. Even though these guys in the middleweight division don't have the same amount of power as someone like Alex Pereira, they're definitely a lot more technical. They're definitely a lot faster. And we just don't know how Yuri is going to react to a 20-pound weight cut. And I just don't understand this narrative that Yuri is like this small light heavyweight. I don't agree with that. I think he's a pretty good sized light heavyweight. I mean, Jamal Hill also looked like a smaller than Alex Pereira. I just think Pereira is just very, very big and continues to get even bigger for the light heavyweight division. But I just don't think that Yuri Prochazcha's solution to Alex Pereira or for his losses, I just don't think the solution is to move down to a lower weight class. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think that's the solution. And like I said, it's not like he's a Max Holloway or like a Robert Whittaker of his division, right? He hasn't fought guys like Magomed Ankalaev. He hasn't fought guys like Jamal Hill. So there's still a lot of opponents for you to face in the light heavyweight division where he could have good scraps in fights that I would favor him over, like a fight over Johnny Walker. I would favor him over a fight over Nikita Krylov. I would favor him over a fight with John Blachowicz. I think would be very interesting, a very exciting fight. A fight against Jamal Hill would also be an amazing fight. So there's a lot of good fights for you to fight in the light heavyweight division. And I just don't think the solution to his problem right now is to move down to the middleweight division where he's at a skill disadvantage. And we just don't know how his chin is going to look like after getting knocked out by Alex Pereira in 2 fights. And even in that fight against Alexander Rakic, even though he won that fight with willpower, durability, and also his power, he took a lot of damage in that fight. I mean, Alexander Rakic was landing at will. And I just don't think Yuri's durability is going to get a lot better. I think, look, even though Yuri doesn't have a lot of fights in the UFC, I think in terms of his skill, I mean, he's a young guy. I think he's like 31 years old. I just don't see Yuri really changing his style all that much. I just think he has a wild man style that it just works. I think it works in the light heavyweight division where in that weight class, a lot of those fighters rely on their striking, on their power, on their durability, on their speed a little bit. In the middleweight division, a lot of these fighters are a little bit more well-rounded. They're a little bit crisper. They're a little bit more technical with their striking, their kicks and stuff. They're more defensively sound than guys in the light heavyweight division. And I just don't think that would work for Yuri Prochazcha. I think, look, guys, he's one of my favorite fighters. And I think that he still has a chance to be a top contender in the light heavyweight division. Do I see him becoming champion? I don't think so. Like I said, he took a lot of damage against Alex Pereira. Let's say Magomed Ankalaev beats Alex Pereira. I mean, I probably would not pick Yuri to beat Magomed Ankalaev. I want to see Yuri fight some contenders. I want to see him fight Khalil Roundtree and then maybe get 2 more wins and then maybe fight for the title. I know a lot of people are blaming the fact that he has staph infection and it was short notice, but like I said, before that fight took place, before the rematch took place, I just think that Alex Pereira is a nightmare matchup for Yuri Prochazcha, who relies a lot on his durability, who relies a lot on being wild and not being technical. Even Glover Teixeira in their fight had him hurt. And honestly, if Glover Teixeira was a little bit smarter, if he had a little bit more, if he had a higher fight IQ, I think he could have gotten Yuri out of there in that 5th round where he had him hurt. So in a lot of Yuri's fights, he's been hurt by guys like even Dominic Reyes hurt him on the ground. Glover Teixeira had him on skates. I mean, the Alex Pereira fight. So it's not like Yuri has like this amazing chin and then moving down to like 20 pounds less to move down to the middleweight division. It just sounds like a terrible idea. Like I said, there's a lot of guys that I believe you can still beat in the light heavyweight division. Guys like Anthony Smith. I mean, he already beat Volkan Ozdemir. A fight against Khalil Roundtree. I think he could beat Khalil Roundtree. A fight against Johnny Walker, obviously that's probably an easy fight. He already fought Alexander Rakic. We don't know where Nikita Krylov is at. Somebody has to find this guy. A fight against Jamal Hill is still a massive fight, a fight that we wanted to see last year. So I think there's still a lot of potential for Yuri. I just don't think the solution is to move down to a weight class where you're at a skill disadvantage, where you already have a lot of technical deficiencies and striking, like your striking defense is not where it's supposed to, and then you're moving down to a division where the guys are a lot more skilled. I mean, I think Imavov would beat him. I mean, Robert Whittaker, I think Robert Whittaker would probably outskill him. Obviously, there's always that potential for Yuri to potentially hurt Robert Whittaker. I just don't see it. I think an Adesanya would be Yuri Prochazcha at 185. I think Sean Strickland is too defensively sound. But who knows, man? Maybe Yuri does have success if he ends up moving to 185. I just don't see it, and I don't think it's a good idea, especially coming off getting finished by Alex Pereira. It just does not seem like a good idea. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think it's a smart idea for you to move down to 185? I don't believe so. Like I said, there's still a lot of guys he can fight at 205. And I just think right now 185 is kind of in a weird place right now. It's very stacked. I mean, Sean Strickland probably going to fight the winner of DDP Adesanya. Robert Whittaker's also waiting in the wings. Probably going to fight Nassourdine Imavov. We don't know what's going to happen with Jared Cannonier. So there's still a lot of moving pieces in the middleweight division. So I just don't think it's a good idea right now for Yuri to move down to 185, like I said, where he's at a skill disadvantage. He's had a lot of MMA fights. I just don't see Yuri improving all that much in his style. Maybe he makes a couple of adjustments in his striking style, but I just don't see him making like this big adjustment and this, like, he changes so much his style. I just don't see that happening. I think it's part of him. I think it's part of his style. I think it works for better and for worse. Worse, you face someone like Alex Pereira who has a shit ton of power. You're going out cold. But if you face like a guy like Alexander Rakic, who's very technical, but you have more willpower and you have a better chin, then obviously Jiri was able to beat Alexander Rakic. But like I said, I just don't believe it's a good idea to move down to 185. So I want to know what you guys think, guys. So please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.